Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Josh.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Hiking Fools, bringing you unique personal insight on Glacier National Park that you can't get anywhere else. In this episode, we are discussing the Highline Trail and everything that goes along with it. The Highline Trail, probably one of the most talked about trails in Glacier. If you're visiting, you want to try to do it. It takes a little work to get there and arrange everything because it is a one-way hike generally. But the Highline Trail has so much to offer. It runs from Logan Pass. It starts right at Logan Pass, at the highest point on the Going to the Sun Road. And if you head out, you want to head in the direction of the Loop. And to get there is about 11 and a half miles. There's a great chalet along the way that you can stop at and recharge and refresh and then head down the long, windy switchback trail down to the Loop. But hopefully you're a little bit familiar with these landmarks, but we'll describe them a little more.
Yeah, our favorite way to go is to start at Logan Pass. You can start down at the Loop, but it's a bit of a calf burner. It's about a 4-mile trek, switchbacks up to Granite Park Chalet from there, and kind of a gradual uphill until you get to Logan Pass. So I prefer to go Logan Pass over to Granite Park Chalet and down to the Loop. And the views are spectacular. You got surrounding glaciated U-shaped valleys. It follows the garden wall, which is mostly above tree line and along the Continental Divide. You got a great chance of wildlife.
Yeah, this hike's got a bit of everything. Vistas, wildlife, subalpine terrain, lodges, glacier overlooks, and there's a lot of options. I mean, it's not just to start and finish. You can take a lot of offshoots on this trail. We'll talk more about them, but the Grinnell Glacier overlook, you can climb Haystack Butte from here. The chalet, from the chalet, you can turn upward and go to Swift Current, Lookout, and Pass. And there's just so many things to do. And Sarah mentioned it. We like the Logan Pass to the Loop, but you might have to get creative because it's a busy hike. You want to get there early and you need to prepare because you're going to need to use either 2 vehicles, which is a challenge, or a hiker shuttle, which is an excellent service within the park. Or if you do it backwards, that's fine. And you can also hitchhike. We've done that a few times and it works. People in the park, especially that are hiking the Highline Trail, they're friendly. They're there to hike. You have similar mindset. You kind of look at each other, maybe wink, try not to get too weird, but like, hey, where are you going? Are you heading up? Are you heading down? We've got a fabulous story. I want to get right into it because it's so neat. Sarah and I go every year in September. It's a beautiful hike in the fall. And it's our anniversary. And so we've done it, how many? I don't know, close to 20 years, I guess, in a row. And the Highline Trail is a favorite. I mean, no matter how many times you've done it, it's excellent. It always looks a little different. But here's the story. We make a sign that says, it's our anniversary. All we want to do is hike the Highline Trail and print it on a poster board. And then we stand at the Loop, hoping that somebody will pick us up. We park our car and hopefully they take us to Logan Pass. We hike down and we're all ready to go. This was a couple of years ago. We were chatting with a couple who ended up being from Germany, and they actually wanted to hike the Highline Trail in reverse from the Loop up to Logan Pass. And we talked a little bit about it. We said, you know what? We could probably, if we're going to meet each other for sure, we could probably exchange keys on the trail. And I guess there was a certain level of trust. And so what we did was park at the Loop. They stayed there. We drove their car up to Logan Pass and parked it. We took their keys and they had ours. And on the way through, we saw them and exchanged keys. And it worked for both of us.
Actually, they never took our keys, but great story. Yeah. Everything else is true.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, it's you're right. We had our keys because we were going to finish at our own car, but a big level of trust. And we had some German techno in their car as we drove to the top. And I mean, we made some friends. We all got to do the hike, and that's the spirit of Glacier in my mind. So back to the kind of facts, figures, what you need to know before you go, Sarah. I mean, there's a lot to know.
Yeah, Logan Pass, it's kind of high up there. It's the highest point on the Going to the Sun Road. It's over 6,000 feet. So obviously getting there, you got to plan a little bit ahead, traffic and parking and all that good stuff. Start early. Earlier is the way to go, or really late. But when you're hiking the Highline, you don't want to start late. So earlier is better.
But we do like to always say that. You can get it either an early start or a late start, because people that get an early start are finishing things. And if you go in late, you can sometimes catch a parking spot.
And if you go from Logan Pass all the way down to the loop, it's 11 and a half miles. You can also go up, and basically your first part of the trail from Logan Pass to Haystack Butte is a gradual uphill climb. You have 3 switchbacks that get you up to the Haystack Saddle. You can go an extra, is it 1 or 2 miles, and summit Haystack Butte, which is kind of cool. It's very easy, a good introduction to mountaineering. Come back to the main trail and continue on. And just a mile before Granite Park Chalet, you can do the very, very steep but totally worth it spur trail that takes you over and above Grinnell Glacier. And the views are amazing. You kind of see down into the Mini Glacier Valley and the Grinnell drainage there. It's well worth it. Don't give up halfway up. It's about 1,000 feet elevation gain in that mile.
In just under a mile, yeah. And you'll see the select few, the brave. As you're hiking the Highline, people stop at the junction and kind of look at each other. They're conversing. The couples are saying, I don't know, can we, should we? And we say always go, because that is an amazing offshoot of the Highline Trail, a highlight of it really. And you view, because Sarah mentioned it's the Continental Divide, you view into the entire other side of the park. And Grinnell Glacier is one of the greatest features in Glacier.
You see so much wildlife on this trail too. Every turn is a great panoramic view of the valley. But we've seen bighorn sheep, we've seen mountain goats, we've seen black bear, we've seen lots of grizzly bear. We've seen a lot of the little critters, the marmots and the golden mantle ground squirrels and the Columbian ground squirrels, chipmunks, and lots of alpine birds. It's just a beautiful hike. Some years the bear grass is spectacular and you can hardly get through, and other years not so much, but there's always an abundance of wildflowers. It's a great hike and very high on our list.
Yeah, for sure. It shows up as one of the greatest hikes in the country or even the world sometimes, based on lists that are in Backpacker magazine. But you got to stop and smell the roses, because if you just look around, you can see way down into McDonald Valley. That stretches out before you can look back at the peaks surrounding Logan Pass. And as we mentioned, even view into the other side of the park. But you got to be careful, Sarah. I'll mention the weather. We've been there enough times that weather comes out of nowhere in the mountains. I mean, we should know that already, but this one specifically, when weather comes over, you can't see it until it's right upon you. And we've been caught in torrential rainstorms and snow even late in the season.
Yeah, be prepared for anything. Make sure you bring plenty of water too, because there's not a lot of places to filter water. I would suggest at least 2 liters if you're going from Logan Pass to Granite Park Chalet. Granite Park Chalet, I believe, they do have a water spigot for you to refill, but bring a water filter with you nevertheless. Always have that. I've mentioned that a lot. It's so helpful to have something to be able to filter water.
And Granite Park, you're right. Granite Park has water and it has snacks, a candy bar, a bag of chips. Not the healthiest of options, maybe a granola bar or something, but it's a good, you're almost finished. You're 2/3 of the way through and you're able to, number one, meet with some neat people, sit on the porch there and talk to some folks. And the Highline Trail attracts a lot of neat, interesting people. And that's part of the draw.
Yeah, a lot of people hike the Highline Trail to stay at Granite Park Chalet. It's about 7.6 miles to Granite Park Chalet, and you can stay there. You have to make reservations early. GraniteParkChalet.com. It was one of the backcountry chalets built by the Great Northern Railroad in 1914. They have interpretive hikes. It's a short season, just like Sperry Chalet. It opens the end of June and goes till about mid-September. And you pack in all your food and your linens, but they do give you an opportunity for an extra charge, to pay for meals ahead of time, and also a linen cost of an additional $40 per person.
The accommodations are great. We've got so much more to say about the Highline Trail. We're going to take a short commercial break, but stick with us. We've got another segment coming right up.
Hello, this is Don Bennett, president of Freedom Bank in Columbia Falls. As a local lender rooted in the community, we pride ourselves on our reputation as a reliable steward of our depositors' money. Freedom Bank's reputation is built on a track record of performance, trust, and an unyielding commitment to building relationships that benefit all parties and creates a strong and healthy community. Freedom Bank, we want to be your bank.
Welcome back. We are the Hiking Fools, and we have been discussing the Highline Trail in Glacier. Just a quintessential trail that everybody wants to do. It's you've got to plan a little bit to be prepared, and it has a little bit of everything. It's a great hike. We've talked about how to get there, which direction that we prefer. It's 11 and a half miles. But Sarah, it's honestly downhill. You lose elevation overall on this hike. As you mentioned, you go up a little bit toward Haystack Butte after the first third, about 4 miles. And then from there, it's a gradual downhill. And from Granite Park Chalet to the loop is actually quite steep downhill. Yeah.
And if you go the loop up to Granite Park Chalet, it's 2,300 feet of elevation gain. So imagine going down that. It's kind of a toe smasher. But the views are great, and you kind of go through some burn area, a lot of fireweed and wildflowers growing up in there. It tends to be a little bit overgrown, but it's a great stretch of the trail, too.
Yeah, and pay attention to what time of year you're doing this hike, because early in the season, it doesn't open right away. There's snow, and late in the season, it sometimes closes earlier than other things. We already mentioned the weather. It's very unpredictable, and we've been up a few times. We climbed a mountain peak from the trail and then came down. We got poured on, and watch out, because if you explore around a little bit off the Highline Trail and those rocks get wet, it's slippery and it's dangerous. And we want to always make sure that people know we're describing things and talking about our adventures, but we don't necessarily recommend doing exactly the same things. It depends a lot on skill level. Be safe, be careful, and know what you're getting into.
If you do happen to be staying at Granite Park Chalet, there's a lot of options for exploring. If you didn't get a chance to do that spur trail looking down on Grinnell Glacier, go ahead and bag that. You can also go up to Swift Current Pass and also summit Swift Current Mountain. There's a active fire lookout up there. It's not too difficult. It's merely class 2. It's just on trail, zigzagging up. You can also go over towards Ahern Pass. That's about 5 miles. Good place to see wolverines. There's plenty to do around there. They also have a campground. You got to reserve that ahead of time. Only have a few spots. But Granite Park Chalet is kind of a cool place on the Highline Trail to explore too.
And how many bears? We have to be honest, mostly grizzly around Granite Park Chalet. At least half of the years that we hiked this, we've seen something right around that area. But luckily, there are usually a lot of people. Again, bring your bear spray. And the other direction, you can go up to Swift Current and head through the pass all the way down into the Many Glacier Valley. So that's another wild hike, and you probably want to come up from the loop and then do that. It'd be a pretty long hike from the Logan Pass, but it's definitely doable, and depending on skill level. But it's a great way, and then again, you got to plan a little bit of logistics to see where am I starting, where am I finishing, and do I have a ride? And don't forget the hiker shuttle. It's a great service within the park, free service.
Yeah, you can hike at the loop and catch the hiker shuttle all the way up to Logan. And then you don't have to worry about catching a shuttle at the end and hiking super fast, knowing that it ends at 7 p.m. You can come down to the loop and your car is there, which is a great feature. Love that hiker shuttle.
Yeah, and I'll say it again, don't forget your fellow hiker. If you share a ride, that works too. And if you hike this one way, you've got to figure that out. But everybody and anybody who is hiking the Highline Trail seems to be in a good mood and good spirits and enjoying the best of what Glacier has to offer.
I recommend bringing binoculars on this trail because as you're hiking along, you're really high up and you're looking down on these kind of marshy areas. There's moose down there. We've seen grizzly bear down there. And spotting mountain songbirds, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, there's a reason it's called the Highline. It's up there, and that's what's neat. You get into the elevation right away, starting at 6,600 feet. You're seeing all the good stuff right away. And Sarah, there's some interesting geology along this trail as well.
Oh, there's a ton of geology. As most places in Glacier, you've got, the mud ripples from the Grinnell Formation, and you've got some stromatolites, and you've got chunks just falling off where these glaciers used to be in the shallow sea. So pay attention. Look, don't just be looking around. Look down too, but leave everything where it came from. Don't take any rocks with you as much as you want to. I like to find some awesome rocks and I take pictures of them. Then I can take it back with me without actually taking it back with me.
Yeah, it is a federal offense to remove anything from the park. And so we want to be safe and respect the natural environment as much as possible.
And make sure you're staying on the trails in these alpine areas. You can damage vegetation pretty quickly if you're going off trail. It takes a long time for these things to grow in this environment. So make sure you're staying on your trail.
Absolutely. Respect is a huge portion of any adventure in Glacier. And Sarah and I have a unique perspective on this. We've done it about 20 times, and so we understand every direction coming from, see everything you'll see along the way, what the best... I've heard there's some slightly incorrect facts out there, so be careful when you're just searching Google. It is 11.6 miles, and it heads downhill from Logan Pass to the Loop, and the facts and figures are things that we're happy to provide.
If you're a die-hard hiker, you can go from Granite Park Chalet to 50 Mountain Campground. It's about 11.9 miles, and you can continue all the way up into Canada. So this trail continues, and it goes far. So if you're not ready to give up yet, and you've just camped at Granite Park Chalet, keep on going. The trail only gets better.
That's right. We're the Hiking Fools. 11.6 miles is not that big of a deal, and it may not be for you either. So you can piece together an adventure, hit the backcountry office, and see what's available. If you through hike the Highline and keep going north, but it's a little bit more untraveled territory, and that can get pretty interesting for a lot of us.
And it's a family-friendly hike too. Like we say, it's not super steep. It's just a gradual uphill to Haystack. We've seen families on there. We've taken our children on it. I remember our oldest hiked it when he was 4, and I think we carried him for a mile. Otherwise, he did the whole thing.
I think he might have been 5. It's been a few years. It's been a minute, but he just his little hiking boots, and you'll see a lot of families on this. And bring a backpack to throw them in if they start to whine, which they will, but bring snacks and it's doable. And hey, get them out there early. That's the way we do things, and they'll do things similarly if you start them out right.
I remember being pregnant with our second, and we hiked from Logan Pass all the way to Granite Park Chalet and up to Swift Current Pass and summited the mountain in, I think, 70-mile-per-hour winds.
Oh, yeah, 80, I'll say.
We almost blew off the mountain. We kind of had to hide behind the fire lookout, but our intention was to drop down into the Many Glacier Valley, the Swift Current drainage there. And we met our family down at the bottom. With our oldest, they hiked it backwards, and we met them down at the bottom. But the lakes, all those beautiful glacier-fed lakes as you descend into that valley are just beautiful. That might add and be as equally as beautiful as the Highline.
I agree. You get up there, and there's a chain of lakes stretching down the valley. It's beautiful little gems that are connected as they head toward Many Glacier. The lookout is awesome. The time, right when you come over that pass, it's just an unbelievable view. So this is, as you can tell, we are excited about this hike and all the things that it offers.
But we need to stick to the Highline. If we get carried away, we can go on and on about different trails in Glacier. But we're talking about the Highline and how amazing it is, and we totally recommend it. And don't get turned around by the stories you hear about that first section on the Highline leaving Logan Pass. It's a little cliffy. You have plenty of space. The angle of photographs can kind of sketch people out. You have at least 4 foot wide of a trail. You got people coming, you got people going. There's a wire if you really do feel nervous. Hug the mountain. You really do have plenty of space. You don't have to look over the edge and down to the going to the Sun Road, but just get through that section. It's over and done with quickly. It's literally 2 minutes. Just keep moving. Don't let that stop you from hiking this amazing trail.
Yeah, whether it's a hike or a climb, we always give the advice, lean into the mountain. You don't have to look down, and just stay safe. And Sarah, do you remember a few years ago, a grizzly bear was on this trail. A hiker was facing him, hiking in the opposite direction, and literally had to go down the cliffs so that the bear could pass, because they don't always step aside. And there's a photo of this. You could check it out. It's amazing. It's an amazing photo of this first section of the Highline. But I totally agree with Sarah. It freaks some people out, but you can do it. There's something to grab onto. Lean into the mountain, and you're with a bunch of great people that'll help you out. And we look forward to doing this hike again. Maybe we'll see you out there, the Highline Trail. Our recommendation is to go from Logan Pass to the Loop, 11.6 miles. Overall, a drop in elevation. You've got to arrange either 2 vehicles, take the hiker shuttle, or work with another hiker to get one way or the other. And it's a beautiful hike where you see all kinds of wildlife, all kinds of different terrain. There's a bunch of options, offshoots to make it even, to compound the enjoyment of it. And the Highline Trail, get out there and do it. And we are the Hiking Fools. We'll tune in next time, and remember to follow this podcast on Apple or Spotify. I'm Josh.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Hiking Fools, encouraging you to always go.